Amazon will say didn't make any money this quarter, no reason to pay taxes. And so what we need to do is we need to put in a...
Andrew Young, το ξέρετε αυτό το όνομα? Είναι μια ελπίδα για τον πλανήτη μας στις εκλογές του 2020 ως πιθανός πρόεδρος των Ηνωμένων Πολιτειών. Είναι μορφωμένος, ξέρει τι συμβαίνει με την τεχνητή νοημοσύνη που αντικαθιστά και πολύ περισσότερο τα επόμενα χρόνια θα αντικαταστήσει λιανικό εμπόριο, μεταφορές, οδηγούς. Έχει σκοπό να εφαρμόσει ένα βασικό εισόδημα $1.000 ανεξάρτητα από δουλειά, ακόμα και για άτομα που δεν δουλεύουν, έτσι ώστε να μην χρειάζεται να αγχώνεται κανείς για το πώς θα πληρώσει το νίκη του, πώς θα φάει, πώς θα πάρει πάνε στα παιδιά του. Αυτή τη στιγμή βλέπω τη συνέντευξή του με τον Τζο Ρόγκαν και στο υπόλοιπο του βίντεο θα δείτε 10 λεπτά να γυμνάζομαι με δύο μεγάλα κολοκύθια. Και γυμνάσου μαζί μου.
You tell him that automation is going to take away his job, but good news, we're going to give you $12,000 a year. That's a substantial loss in income, and it leaves them. It also leaves them with this feeling of uselessness or hopelessness that they're not contributing. You know, I think one of the things that people enjoy is earning their own way. You know, people don't. It sounds counterintuitive. People don't like free money. They like a feeling of satisfaction of a job well done, that they've created something, they've done something.
Yeah, you're 100% right. It's one reason why we call this the freedom dividend. We say, look, it's not money for nothing. You're an owner and shareholder of the richest country in the history of the world. Just like when I buy Verizon or Microsoft, they send me a dividend. Like, I don't complain about that. Like, you're now a shareholder in this great nation and you get a dividend. But when I was with Dennis, the trucker who owns his own trucking company in Iowa, the role that jobs play in truckers' lives is vital. And again, I'm a very data-driven guy, where men deal with joblessness very, very poorly.
Yeah.
By the numbers, we spend between 40 and 75% of our time on the computer playing video games or doing other things. Our substance abuse goes up. Our volunteering in the community goes down even though we have more time. And we generally spiral into antisocial and self-destructive behaviors. Now, this is not something that's experienced by women at the same levels. Like women in joblessness, women actually are more adaptable. They're more likely to go back to school and volunteer. They don't spend all their time on the computers the way that we do. So there's a real problem. And the purpose of universal basic income is not meant to be a job replacement for those truckers. Because right now, those truckers, and when I talk to the truck drivers, so I've been campaigning for president now for a number of months, so I spend a lot of time in Iowa, which is a really huge trucking hub. And you go to them and say, hey guys, you worried about robot trucks taking your jobs? They're like, there's no way a robot can take my job. Like that's, you know, that's like totally matter of fact. They're like, this is not something that they worry about. Their attitude has transitioned from that somewhat to, we should make robot trucks illegal. Or we should make it so that a robot truck cannot displace me. So that's been a big shift, because a year ago they were like, it's impossible.
The idea that an American would say we should make a robot job illegal, like we should have some laws that keep you from being free to use robots for your business instead of a person. Like you should be forced to hire, like mandatory unionization or something. That sounds pretty ridiculous.
Well, that's where a lot of them are, Joe. So only 13% of truckers are unionized. So 87% are like Dennis, where they're in small independent firms. And a lot of them actually bought or leased their own trucks. So they took out tens of thousands of dollars in the equivalent of a mortgage to get this truck. And so if they have to compete against a robot truck that doesn't stop, that's like, you know, that's existential level stuff.
Yeah.
And right now, truck drivers have time use regulations where they cannot drive more than 14 hours a day. So you literally cannot compete.
Right.
Because the robot truck's just going to keep going hour 15, 16, 17, etc. So these guys some of them make really good money. Like some of them make $70,000, $75,000, $80,000. It's one of the higher paying jobs for men without a college degree. And so if you look at what they're facing, it's not so crazy that they're like, hey, you need to make the robots illegal. Because for them, what is the next best economic alternative if the robot trucks take over that job? Like,
Well,
where
it's
they gonna
not,
go from?
yeah, it's not crazy for them, but it's a crazy idea to tell a company that they can't do something that's more efficient, safer, and probably economically more viable.
Oh yeah, again, the savings from automated truck driving are estimated to be $168 billion per year. And not just labor savings, but also equipment utilization because the trucks never stop, fuel efficiency because the trucks can daisy chain together so there's less wind resistance, fewer accidents because right now truck accidents kill about 4,000 people a year. So you probably save lives. There's a very, very powerful argument for the fact that we should be trying to automate this stuff.
Yeah.
But on the other side, you have literally 3.5 million truckers who rely upon this for their livelihoods to support their family. And there's going to be a lot of passion, a lot of resistance to this. Anyone who thinks the truck drivers are just going to shrug and be like, all right, I guess I had a good run, I'm just going to go home and figure it out. That's not going to be their response.
Right.
It's going to be much more likely that they say, you need to make these robot trucks illegal, or they're just going to park their trucks across the highway, get their guns out, because a lot of these guys are ex-military, and just be like, hey, like I'm not moving my truck until, I get my job back. And there'll be a lot of truckers in the same situation.
You really think that would happen?
Well, I
They
think
would
they're
block the highway for their job back? That's less efficient, kills more people.
So I was with these truckers in the truck stop in Altoona, Iowa. And Joe, they have really, really difficult jobs. I mean, I don't know if you knew truckers where you were, but they have this 14-hour window where they're allowed to drive their truck, and they drive most of that. So they have these other 10 hours, and they sleep in their truck. Their trucks have a bed. They go into the truck stop, they take a shower, and there's a laundry. And they're like plugged into this machine of this truck and the industry. They spend days, sometimes weeks on the road.
A lot of them listen to podcasts. Probably a lot of them listening right now.
A lot of them listen to podcasts, and they're doing it primarily because it's a more lucrative opportunity than the other jobs that are available to them. A lot of them have families that like supporting their families. And so if you say, hey guys, time's up for this way of life, most of them, I think, will not. I look at how much they endure. There's so much endurance baked into that job.
Yeah.
That I think most of them will be like some of the guys you and I know, where they're much more likely to implode or do something where it's self-destructive than they would be to take their truck and park it across the highway. But you're talking about a population of hundreds of thousands, including many small business owners. And small business owners have a different mentality very often. Like, I've been an entrepreneur. I'm a serial entrepreneur for the last 20 years. Like, you're an entrepreneur. And if you saw this happen, you might say, hey, I'm adaptable, I'll figure it out. Or you might say, hey, I think I can do something about this. Like, if I park my truck this way, that's going to cause such havoc that it's like hundreds of millions of dollars worth of economic harm very, very fast. And if you look at the Industrial Revolution, which people cite as the precursor to what we're going through, there were mass riots in the Industrial Revolution that killed dozens of people, caused billions of dollars worth of damage. Labor Day is a holiday today because of those riots. And then we implemented universal high school in 1911, in part as a response to these riots. So according to the estimate...
1-2-1, με ακούει η κάμερα. Κουράστηκα στα 7 λεπτά, σταματάω τη γυμναστική, σταματάω το βίντεο τώρα. Να περνάς καλά και θα τα πούμε σε ένα